getting hit multiple times coming out of that bike section. More drivers coming to blows. Well, hello and good evening, everybody. Welcome back here to Ron's Race Nights on slow motion broadcasting for the Week 3 action from the street stocks at Martinsville. My name is Ron Maunz, and thanks to the fact I didn't light off any fireworks last evening on the 4th of July, I am doing this broadcast with all 10 of my fingers. We have got a fantastic night of racing action to look forward to here for week number 3. We've had some great races up to this point. We kicked things off a couple of weeks ago with the action from the Formula 3s at Imola. Had some action last week with the Radical SR10s running at Watkins Glen, and today we have got some absolutely fantastic, some short track racing under the lights here at Martinsville, and just a part of the absolutely amazing schedule that we have to look forward to here for Ron's Race Nights in Season 3 of 2025. Looking through the remainder of this calendar, next time out for this show, we're going to be running the Legends cars at the Knock Hill track up there in Scotland. That'll be a really fun fun race in 1 week's time. Radical Esports Cup action returns for week 5. Skip Barbers for week 6. The Street Stocks will return for their second appearance here this season for week number 7. Formula C fix for week 8. Week 9 will see the Radical Esports Cup return at Fuji, and then for 3 final races from this season, we have got the Legends Road Course Cup at Lime Rock, the Skip Barbers at Tsukuba, and the Formula C fixed action at Road America. A lot of fantastic racing action to look forward to here throughout this season. But to get tonight up and rolling, we have got some barn burner of some oval track action, and we're already in qualifying, so I think we will switch our attention into that right about now. Looking through, the drivers already saying some very good lap times on the board. Looks at the moment that our pole sitter is going to be Cooper Metcalf in the number 2 car. Nice to see the number 2 car up there, up at the front. That's the number that I used to run back in my karting days, so I'm definitely a little bit biased when it comes to that. And to all of you tuning into this broadcast, if you do enjoy tonight's racing action, happy to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the racing action. And if you want to donate this publicly broadcasted iRacing event, publicly funded iRacing broadcast, I should say, you can scan the QR code on screen right now, the Ko-Fi link to donate and support Ron's Race Nights here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. But we don't have to worry about any of that sort of stuff at the moment, because we have got a starting grid to take a look at here for tonight's racing action. It's going to be the Canadian of Cooper Metcalf starting this race from the pole, and then Mendenhall will join him on the front row. It's going to be Billy Green starting this race in 3rd, alongside Sean Patrick in the number 12 car starting in 4th. It'll be Jason Patterson starting in 5th, alongside Bennett Allen in 6th. Ernest Britton will start this race in P number 7. A very nice name, I gotta say. That is absolutely awesome for the driver of the number 7 car starting this race in P7. Dalton Miller will start in 8th. Right behind him, rounding out your top 10, will be Ollie Ferguson and Alan Hoyt. In P11 and P12, it will be Zach Royce and Curtis Hedden. And then looking right behind them on this starting grid, rounding out our field, we have got Ryan Sprague, Colby Garrett, and Mike McAskill rounding out your 15 cars set to grab the green flag here in a couple of moments' time. And we are expecting some great racing action. I'm certainly expecting it, and hopefully all of you tuning into this broadcast are expecting it as well. Now, for the first time here on these Ron's Race Nights broadcasts, we've got some oval action. We've had the road courses up to this point, but now we've got some fantastic oval racing, and I have a feeling we have a killer of a race here this evening, and fingers crossed that no drivers will get killed in this race. You think of Martinsville, you think of clean, respectful racing where these drivers are not going to touch each other and going to keep it out of the barriers all throughout this race. You can also tell that along with being a commentator and a producer now, I am also a pathological liar. I have a feeling that this 50-lap long race as in front of these drivers is going to be a hectic one. We will probably have very little breaks in the racing action, which won't catch me complaining about that, but at the same time, it will definitely be an all-out assault for these racers. Looks like Alan Hoyt is not going to be taking to the starting grid. Some drivers blinking out a little bit farther in the back. Yeah, it looks like Hoyt and Ernest Bryn, right as I mentioned, the driver with the coolest name in all of iRacing, he gets struck by a falling anvil and won't be taking the start. Hopefully this isn't issues for our pole sitter, the number 2 of Cooper Metcalf. That'll be the trend for this week's broadcast. Just have a bunch of these drivers get struck by falling anvils. I think we may have also had a moment saying that Ollie Ferguson may have had an incident, that or our timing tower is just playing tricks on us. I think it might have, yeah, just going very slow at the start. So it's trying to play me like a fiddle, but these drivers going to be playing their throttle pedal like a fiddle all throughout this race, and trying to keep calm around this race, which is certainly going to be a tough one for these drivers. And nice to see some very good looking paint schemes here on this broadcast and here on the racetrack this evening. Looking at this track as well, enveloped in the midnight here in Martinsville. It's an old summer night. It's some old school, old-fashioned racing action here from the C Fixed series here with the Street Stocks and Next Level Racing Street Stock series. We cover the top splits here on Ron's Race Race Night, so if you want to be a part of the racing action, just sign up to one of these races, and if you have high enough of an I rating, you can make your appearance here on Ron's Race Nights every single Saturday night here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. We got a Saturday night shootout here at Martinsville as the green flag is out, and we are racing at Martinsville. It's a good start for your pole sitter. The two of Cooper Metcalf going to try and lead them off for this first lap. You got the three of Mendenhall trying to get some moves done as well. A moment involving Jason Patterson. More drama. Big hit into the inside wall. That is a major bit of drama. That was Dalton Miller and the number 15 car as a Dale Earnhardt tribute scheme and has contact with the wall very early on. Jason Patterson was also involved in the drama. You can see some damage on the front end of that race car. I think we have some replays to take a look at already. Let's start in all of this with your driver currently class in P12. It's Patterson, and there's the moment. Gets a little bit sideways through the turn. Gotta load up that replay again. I apologize. Not the best of angles there in the world, if I am being completely honest. Let's take a look at this again, though, and the moment that brought this race to a halt before it could even really begin. And let's see, is it contact? No, he just overcooked it big time down to the turn. Nothing he really could have done, and in all of that drama, the worst was yet to come for Miller, who had a sickening hit into that inside wall. Let's take a look at this from his perspective, because he had a wallop of an impact. Looks like he gets off to a rather smooth start, but as smooth of a start it was, things quickly went to hell in a handbasket. Looks like you can see that stacking a little bit farther up in front. Big stack up coming out of the turn and bang into that inside wall. That'll be major damage for that car of Miller. Not sure if we will be able to see him rejoin this race here this evening. Gotta keep my eyes on. I believe he has actually left the session. So Dalton Miller deciding to cut his losses and leave this race early. But in all that drama and the smoke and the chaos at the front of the field, it's currently being class. Okay, yeah, that was definitely a bit of a screw up there for a couple of moments. Some overtaking going on under yellow, but Cooper Metcalf is still your race leader at the present moment in the number 2 car, and in Mendenhall is slotted in P2. Billy Green runs at your top 3 in a car that I'm not entirely sure. It can't show that on actual television, but we're here on iRacing on YouTube, so who gives a crap? But waiting for this first yellow to come to a conclusion. 4 laps already on the board of this 50-lap long race. I have a feeling this may be a general theme as to how things go here. You know, I'm going to share my own personal experience doing broadcasts here at Martinsville. One time, I was tasked with doing a full-length NASCAR Cup broadcast here at, I nearly said at Watkins Glen, here at Martinsville. And, yeah, in the process of that, we had, I think, 22 cautions before lap 200. So, keeping my fingers crossed we won't have that here tonight. Pace car's coming back down pit lane. The green flag is back out. The driver's back on their way. It's a killer restart from Metcalf. He'll try and lead them as strongly as he can off into turn number 1 and 2. Looking at the racers a little bit farther in the back. Let's see if they can keep it clean as they head their way off through the turn. Looking good for green. Looking green for just about everybody as they head their way down the backstretch off into turns number 3 and 4. Everyone getting through that first lap clean, but Cooper Metcalf going to be your race leader. He's slotted right in front of Mendenhall. A blink out there a couple of moments ago for Ollie Ferguson, the Canadian in the number 1 car, hoping to keep his car on the racetrack and with us on this broadcast here tonight. Currently slotted in 4th. Let's see what he may be able to do between now and the end of this race. Mendenhall, though, this is a driver I want to keep tabs on. We'll run on board with him here in a few moments' time and see the run he gets heading off through turn number 1 and 2. Set the fast lap of the race a couple of moments ago, but Allen actually has been able to break that. So Bennett Allen getting off to a flyer of a restart, as I think we may have had some drama a little bit farther in the back. Some drivers shuffling away big time as it's a fight actually involving Sean Patrick and Billy Green. That's not going to work, boys. Contact being made. Oh, hang on to it. No, that's not going to work. Bang into the outside wall. The yellow going to come out again. As soon as those cars started to make contact, I had a feeling it was going to snowball from there. As that rear bumper bounces down pit lane, the second yellow will come out 9 laps into this race. And let's take a look at this replay, because it was a messy incident all around for these competitors. Let's see as they head their way down the start-finish stretch. Contact being made there as he exits the turn. Sean Patrick trying to squeeze him out a little bit, and bang, huge touches for all of those drivers. unfortunate moment for all of them involved in that. Billy Green, though, yeah, I wouldn't say he got the short end of the stick per se. However, the driver, the number 5, definitely with some big damage on that race car. You can see how beaten and battered that car is. Barely able to make the turn down to turn number 3 and 4. So clearly not a good start to the race for him. Not a good start for a lot of these racers, it must be said. We're going to take a look at another angle of this incident, and this time potentially right on board with the driver of Sean Patrick. You can see him just trying to squeeze him out a little bit. The contact is made. He barely taps the wall, but in the process trying to get back up and rolling. I'm not sure who that car was on the inside. Contact is made and just augers Patrick straight into the outside wall, down into 1 and 2. As you can see, that bumper just flying there on the inside. Billy Green, he's in the pits with damage along with Patrick. You can see both of those cars fittingly lined up on pit lane, basically nose to tail right around each other. Interesting how the universe works. But we are under our second caution here at Martinsville, waiting for the pace lights to go out on that pace car here and hopefully the not too far off future, and get this race back up and rolling. Metcalf trying to entertain himself, running on the Yellowwood banners on the other inside of turn number 1. I'm not sure if that's entirely advisable. I don't think the paint has anywhere near as much grip as the asphalt does, but again, very good reason why I'm behind the microphone instead of behind the wheel. I don't really know what sort of strategies these drivers, you know what it is actually? I think it's the old road course strategy that people used to do years ago of just waiting for the golden opportunity to try and cool your tires down, and in the process of that just running off the track, cooling the tires down, running it off into the grass. I think iRacing fixed that eventually, but you know, who knows? Maybe that's still a glitch here at Martinsville today. Let's just let's wait and see how this all shakes out. As yeah, the lights are out on the pace car, we will get this race back up and rolling here in just a few moments' time. This broadcast on Ron's Race Nights is, of course, made possible by all of you donating to that QR code on screen right now. Support Ron's Race Nights through the QR code, the Ko-Fi QR code. Try saying that 5 times fast to make these broadcasts and make this racing action possible, as we're back to green here at Martinsville, and it's Metcalf and Mendenhall getting off to a flyer, but here comes Ollie Ferguson in that number 1 car, the Canadian, making a Canuck 1-2, but there's contact being made as they head their way out of 2. Ollie Ferguson gonna try and put the bumper to the side of that number 2 car. Not entirely sure how that would work, a bumper to the side, but a bumper to the back sends him up the track, coming out of 2, and it's now a side-by-side fight between the 1 and the 2 as they head their way off into 1 and 2. The 3 car currently slotted in 3rd, trying to make something work. That's Mendenhall. Let's see what he may be able to try and do here. Contact being made, huge touching down into here. That's not going to work at all. Look at that, trying to muscle his way up into the race lead. Here comes the 3 of Andon Mendenhall. He jumps into the race lead. Metcalf now slotted in P2. Ferguson dropping back a little bit. Connection issues still, and touching big time. That's Mendenhall spinning around as he heads his way through the turn. Head and huge crash as they head their way through the turn. Someone is up on their side, I think, unless I'm very much mistaken. That was a 10 of Patterson, parked up on the side of one of his competitors. Fisticuffs have broken out here. 17 laps on the board of this 50-lap long race here at Martinsville, and it was a huge amount of drama as they headed their way off through 1 and 2. The racing was so intense and so fantastic to see, but it was bound to happen at some point. Let's take a look at this from the wildest perspective of all. Jason Patterson, he had a wild ride in this. Let's run on board with a slow motion broadcasting gyro cam of the number 10. See that contact going all a little bit farther up in front, skating around, and there you can see the back end of that race car. You can hear him trying to rev it up to drive off the hood of the other cars that he was around. That was just ugly. There's no other way to describe it. That was pure unbridled ugliery, if that is even a word. It is certainly not, but screw it, I'm making it one now, as we'll take a look at some more driver's perspective in that drama. Here's a number 9, and let's see, the 3 car spins, contact being made, really has nowhere to go, ends up in the 85. You can see that 10 nearly flipping against the wall there. That was an absolutely insane moment, as there's Hoyt, and there's Hedden. Yeah, you can see that car ready for the scrap heap. He had a wild ride and all of that as well. I want to see if I can maybe load up a replay of that potentially. Fingers crossed. I'm not sure I will be able to. Come on, live timing, you son of a... Well, actually, right on board with the 3-car and his drama in all this, because he had a wacky ride. There's no other way around it. No beating around the bush when it comes to that. Let's actually see this from the slow-mo shot. You can see sideways. This, I gotta say, you don't need to be an expert to know that this is a bad way for things to shake out for you. Then it gets worse. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars potentially piling up and all that drama. Bad stuff all around for the drivers involved in that collision. You can see Jason Patterson still with the front end damage. Damage still for the number 3. He is not going to be a happy man. Cooper Metcalf, though, he was able to shake off all of that drama like a bad case of the fleas. It's worked out surprisingly well for him. But outside of that, I feel like these drivers are already going to have to owe some people some money to repair the damage on their race cars. That pace car making the turn to come back down pit lane. Let's see how this third restart of the night is going to shake out. We're back racing here at Martinsville, and it's Metcalf leading us back to green. Let's see how long he'll be able to hold on to it, as he's still got the fearsome Canadian, the number 1 of Ollie Ferguson, looking to try and make something work as well. Let's see, as it's now Bennett Allen trying to give him a shake down the inside, off it to 3 and 4. He's got to skate up the track into the side of the 1 a little bit. That could have ended so much worse than it already did. They keep it calm, they keep it cool, they keep it collected as he heads his way down into the turn. The dive potentially still, you can see a little bit of that number 1 car just sticking out ever so slightly. They head their way down the back stretch. They may need to keep some eyes on Ryan Sprague a little bit farther in the back, as look at that, the 4 skating up the track once again. That could have ended so much worse yet again for these racers. They are playing with fire. There's no other way to describe it. Oh, that's another blink out. Big one there for Ollie Ferguson. You think of how hard it is to go side by side here at Martinsville and keep it going in a straight line without getting collected in some sort of incident, then realize that number 1 car is blinking in and out wildly. Another blink out as he gave the number 4 of Bennett Allen a bit of a bump heading down there. I'm not sure how well that will be received, but regardless, I think these racers are hoping that this race settles into some sort of groove, but Ollie Ferguson going to try and keep this race enticing and exciting. Oh, look at that. Trying to get to the back bumper of that 4 car still, and Cooper Metcalf and all that drama has not really been able to shake off these racers either. You can see him running at the front of this field. It's about a half a second gap between himself and Bennett Allen, and not really sure if he will be able to build up enough momentum and build up enough speed to be able to shake these drivers off like a bad case of the fleas. Let's just see. We ride on board with the driver of the number 2 car. Look at that drama a little bit farther in the back. This is a better camera shot though. Bennett Allen, he is getting hounded from the back. You can see that 1 car skating around this track, trying to find any way in the book to get past him. Let's see how it will go between these racers, still running nose to tail. Past the halfway mark now of this 50-lap long race. We've already had 2 yellows and a wall scrape a little bit farther in the back. That, I believe, was Ryan Sprague with the moment down into the turn. You can see that number 11 car with the wall tap coming out of the final turn. Let's ride on board with the driver here for a few moments and just get a sense of the perspective as to how it is running around this racetrack. I think he may have some car on the inside of him. He does have a car on the inside of him. That's the 3 on the inside of the 11. They had their way side by side down that start-finish stretch, off it to turn 1 and 2. There's the move from Macaskill to jump his way up into 4th. 11 spots gained since the drop of the green flag. Absolutely awesome stuff for that driver. You can see the rest of the hard chargers. Ollie Ferguson, a hard charger as well, up 6 spots. He blinks in and out yet again. Those connection issues not going to make this an easy fight between himself and Bennett Allen at all. And we'll just have to wonder how exactly all of this is going to shake out between now and the end of this race. Get into crunch time though for sure, and with this field as spread out as they are, probably going to take a single car incident to bring another yellow flag out in this race. And just looking through, I gotta wonder if we may see this 2-car battle very rapidly turn into a 3. Cooper Metcalf has really lost out on some speed as of recent. You can see what his best laps are looking at, but let's take a look at these drivers' last laps. Metcalf, last time by, a 21.356. Compared that to Allen, who's a little bit quicker. It was definitely a more pronounced gap the time before then when it comes to pace. And then look at Ferguson, it was quicker than the both of them. So I don't think the number 2 of Metcalf is out of the woods just yet. He will still have to have a battle on his hands between now and the very end of this race. We're going to drop on with the time delta to see how that gap is slowly but surely starting to shake out. You can see, I wouldn't say it's necessarily plateaued as of recent, but there definitely have been some smaller gains being made by the driver of the number 4 of Bennett Allen. Run on board with this driver of the number 4 car, and you're either going to see him nearly get into the back of Metcalf, or you're going to see Ollie Ferguson get into the back of him. So I think we're just going to stay with this outboard shot and follow these racers as they head their way off through these turns. Another blink for the 1, not going to help out his calls at all. Metcalf still has the race lead. Bennett slotted in P2. You can see, though, a little bit of lap traffic starting to get involved in this. This is the longest green flag run we have had by quite a significant margin, and he's got the damaged car. That's the 12, your current P13 runner of Sean Patrick with some major front end damage. He's got to hopefully get out of the way of these racers and not affect this battle too much. You can see the damage on that race car. We'll take a look at the inside of the safer barrier. Now let all those drivers go by on the inside. The Sportsman roll nearly the 2 car. Oh, contact being made. Oh, big contacts. They had their way down to the turn. That was not very necessary from Ollie Ferguson. Not really sure what he was playing at there. Makes a contact down the start-finish stretch. Still remains in P3, but in all that, he has lost a little bit of time to the back end of Bennett Allen, who's really reeled in Cooper Metcalf. You can see those drivers covered by just about nothing. 0.3 of a second is the gap between those racers presently, and it is getting tense, it's getting tight, it's getting racy. You can see last time by, Allen just a little bit quicker than Metcalf on that previous lap. It may not seem like much, but coming to the end of this race with about 13 laps left to go, it can be critical. So let's see how it'll all shake out here at Martinsville for week number 3 of Ron's Race Nights here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. And if you're enjoying this racing action, how about you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the racing action, because have it be known, folks, that it is absolutely intense at the front of this field. Allen still trying to reel in Metcalf, but the thing that's always said on broadcast and should bear repeating mentioning here, catching up is one thing, overtaking a completely different game. So let's see what game he decides to play, whether or not the game is decided to play for Bennett Allen. As it stands presently, he'd be looking at a pretty significant iRating gain. Again, this is an official series, so these drivers do have to worry about that ever so slightly, but at the same time, they're here to win it. They want to grab a checkered flag, and let's see if they will be able to do that. Allen still close. I don't think Ollie Ferguson can really get involved in this battle. We jump to him, slotted in 3rd. You can see that gap is about 0.7 of a second between himself and Allen, so I really don't know if a battle could be held between those racers between now and the end of this race. But one driver has an ominous view, is the back end of the number 2 of Cooper Metcalf. See that car right in his rear view mirror, coming to 42 laps into this race. Definitely getting into crunch time here at Martinsville. And Bennett Allen, oh, you can see he's definitely getting a bit more optimistic on the brakes down into the turn. That was very close to contact as they had their way down to 1 and 2. I think Bennett Allen is starting to risk it. He's starting to push that car just a little bit more, and let's see if he'll be able to push it just enough to be able to get that race lead, and not too much to be able to spin it and probably hit the wall and send this race into a very dramatic conclusion with a potential green-white checkered. Allen still there within striking distance. That gap has been roundabout the same for quite some time now. I'm not really sure if he will be able to take that extra leap to catch up to the number 2. Ollie Ferguson, though, he has really lost out on some time last time by as they come across the stripe. Nearly a full 1/10 of a second slower than the drivers a little bit farther up the road, not helping his case out at all. One driver, though, who had a very good lap last time by was Cooper Metcalf. I would say about a half a tenth quicker last time by, nearly a full 10th quicker last time by. So Metcalf really peaking at the right time, trying to build that gap to over a half a second. He doesn't need to pull away with it. I think what he wants to be at this point in time is just out of dive bomb range, out of bump and run range, out of boot scoon boogie range, or if it's very light contact, out of bink and dink range. One driver, though, I do want to mention, the number 3 of Mike Maciskill. Still slotted in 4th. He's a hard charger right now, as you can see that drama involving Jason Patterson, who I gotta say, rousing recovery drive for him. He's been able to make his way up, was inside the top 5, however, just got a move put on him by Colby Garrett to jump his way up into 5th. But at the front of the field, coming to 2 to go now for Metcalf, on 2 to go now, in fact. I don't really believe this is going to be Bennett Allen's win for the taking. I think Metcalf was able to save up his stuff, keep that car clean. That number 2 is still looking just about factory fresh, even though he, even with all the drama and chaos that went on in the first half, he's just kept it clean and smooth and consistent at the front. And as he's now on 2 to go, Metcalf on track for victory. Bennett Allen slotted in P2. Time really running out for the driver of the number 4 car. Let's see if he pulls off any sort of heroics. But as you can see, that car slowly but surely drive off into the distance with a white flag in the air. I really don't think this is going to be Allen's for the taking. He goes for the dive there. That's a spin off into the turn. Not sure who that is around, but it's not enough to bring the yellow out here on the final lap, as Cooper Metcalf gonna pretty much pull off a clean sweep here at Martinsville for week number 3 of Ron's Race Nights. Cooper Metcalf and the number 2 car go win this race here at Martinsville, weaving across the line in the number 2 car. He'll finish right in front of Bennett Allen. Ollie Ferguson will be slotted in P number 3 with a beautiful slide down into the turn. Mike Maciskill will be your hard charger. Colby Garrett will be slotted in 5th. Jason Patterson is classed in P6, but for Cooper Metcalf, it was a brilliant drive from him from start to finish. Was able to get a good result at the end of it all. Shook off all the drama. Was able to pull nearly a 1-second gap. Oh, that's ugly. Look at that. That's the one of Ollie Ferguson having a very strong disagreement. Who's that he's banging with? Oh, that's the 85. Okay, oh boy, I'm not sure how well that's going to be looked upon by iRacing. I think that may have been Sean Patrick involved in all that. Were those the two that were, for lack of a better term, playing grab ass a little bit earlier on? I think we'll have to rewind that back a little bit. I'm not sure if it was Sean Patrick. I think he got away with that rather scot-free. Let's see exactly who that was, because that was absolutely absurd. They headed their way down onto the start-finish straightaway. We'll catch the donuts from your from your race winner here in just a few moments' time. I'm trying to do a little bit of investigative journalism. It was Curtis Hedden. Okay, so these were the two that are having some beef at the end of this race. I would pull off the usual the usual drama, the moon card, the we got beef bell here, but I don't have that to my excess here. As there was some drama a little bit earlier on in that lap, or was he just trying? Okay, I want to see exactly what the deal was here. It had to have been a sideways snap. No car can be that completely screwed up, or he's just weaving to try and take somebody out. Oh, I'm not really sure exactly what the deal was there. It's something all right, and we'll hold on to this in a little bit, because there is something most certainly wrong between some of those racers to have the beef that they do right at the very end of this. That or he was trying to get a little bit of fuel back in the pipes of that car. That could have been it. That or he was maybe waiting for the one. Yeah, you could see rolling right away, so I think there may have been some outstanding beef right towards the end of that race. But Cooper Metcalf, your winner at the end of it all, going to celebrate as he comes across the line here for Ron's Race Nights on Slow Motion Broadcasting. He takes the victory at the end of it all. Gonna get those race results loaded up for you here in just a few moments time, and let you know that at the end of all of that racing action, Cooper Metcalf was your winner, 9/10 of a second the gap to himself and Bennett Allen in P2. Ollie Ferguson rounds out your podium in third. Finishing this race in fourth and being your hard charger at the end of it all is going to be Mike Macaskill. In P5 will be Colby Garrett. In P6 will be Jason Patterson. In P7 will be Ryan Sprague. P8 will be Zach Roy's Ernest Bryn. After joining this race rather late, will be classed in 9th. Alan Hoyt rounds out your top 10 at the end of it all. You can see Bennett Hall with some rather big damage throughout that race was classed down P11. Sean Patrick involved in his own drama in P12. Billy Green in 13th. Curtis Hedden in P14 with Dalton Miller rounding out your 15 cars that are classified at the end of this race. A race that saw it all. We had some drama throughout most of it. We had some chaos for sure, but we also had some good old-fashioned being and banging and roughing each other up stock car racing action here on Slow Motion Broadcasting. And to all of you tuning into this broadcast, we hope you did enjoy tonight's racing action here at Martinsville. And if you did, how about you take a look at the schedule that we've got for the rest of this season here for Ron's Race Nights. Next time at, you'll be able to see the action from the Legends Road Course Cup at Knock Hill. That broadcast will come to you live here on Slow Motion Broadcasting on July the 12th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The next time the Street Stocks will run here on SMB is going to be for the Lanier race on August the 2nd. I nearly said August the 12th. No, August the 2nd, about a little over a month, exact same time, and you can catch all of the action every single week here on Slow Motion Broadcasting from Ron's Race Nights, so you never miss out on any of the racing action. And a friendly reminder yet again as well that these broadcasts on Slow Motion Broadcasting for Ron's Race Nights are made possible by all of you tuning into these broadcasts, and to those feeling generous enough to support Ron's Race Nights through the Ko-Fi QR code that you've got on screen right now. Support this series, support public iRacing broadcasts, and I hope you are able to tune into these absolutely awesome races. We've had a fantastic first quarter of the action here for Ron's Race Nights in Season 3 of 2025, and hopefully for that Legends Road Course race at Knock Hill in just 1 week's time, all of you will be able to tune in to that broadcast as we see our race winner burn it down. That will just about do it here on Slow Motion Broadcasting for Week 3 action for Ron's Race Nights. So, for myself, Ron Maunz, working the comms and the cams with all of you on this broadcast, I say thank you all so very much for tuning in to SMB here tonight, and I hope to see you all wherever it is in the not-too-distant future.